Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing tonight? All right. Good. It started out kind of weak, but then it got strong, and that was the right response. Thank you. Thank you, emphatically. Welcome, everyone, to this year's Capstone poetry class reading. For those of you who are joining us online or anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Matt Donovan. I'm the director of the Poetry Center here at Smith College. So welcome if you're, again, a parent, a friend of one of these readers, or a prospective student. It's awesome to have you join us here for this event. This is something that we've been looking forward to all semester long. It is always such a thrill to just dwell in all of the words and accomplishments of these students. That they always deliver such exhilarating work. It always just buoys me this time of year. And it's always also incredibly exciting to just see the diverse ways in which these students will be approaching the page in the craft of poetry. So I'm really looking forward to hearing the work from all of you. And also many of them, or all of them actually, will be turning these, some of these poems that you're hearing into chapbooks that will be published and available in a few weeks in the Poetry Center. I'm sure they're all in the throes of the joys of InDesign. I'm sure it's exactly like that. You know, if you hear something you really love tonight, come back in a few weeks. They'll be on the shelves of the Poetry Center, and you can dip into this work anytime moving forward. I just have two other quick announcements. One is, in case you do not know, next Tuesday, April 28th, at 7 o'clock in John M. Green, we're going to have the incredible Danez Smith here reading poems to us, and then in conversation with the also amazing Tiana Clark. Please come to that. Spread the word about that event. We're really looking forward to that. I know it's, for a lot of us, it's going to feel like such an invigorating and cathartic poetry reading. So I hope you can make that as well. And then for students in my English 112 class, this is one of the last few times you have to do it, but QR codes will be posted just at the end of the event. As always, just let me know if you have any trouble. But you'll be able to scan your attendance code before leaving here right at the end of the event. And it is now my pleasure to turn the podium over to Yona Harvey, my wonderful colleague, the fearless leader of the readers for tonight, and the Tamis Day Professor of Poetry at Smith College. Please welcome to the podium, Yona Harvey.
Hey, can you hear me okay? All right, good. I'm really happy to be here introducing our poets tonight. This is the Spring 2026 Advanced Poetry Capstone class, and I think I'd just like to say, meeting them on the first day of the semester, there was some indication that this cohort was going to bring like a really wild mix of aesthetics, curiosities, sensibilities to their work. And I think it's safe to say that that inkling proved true. It's probably a cliche to say this, but I think you'll hear it for yourself tonight that no two poets in this class are alike. There's some real range here. It's a special occasion when a community of poets comes together in a workshop. You're on the hook to craft the best poem that you can make and to hold space for fellow poets who crave your attention, your feedback, who wrestle with pesky questions like, is this poem any good? Or what does my poem have to say? Or was it clear what I was saying? With so much happening in the world, in our country, on our campus, and even in our kind of overstimulated head spaces, these questions can feel thornier than ever. And I think it's such a gift, though, to be with young poets who take that risk of writing, revising, responding to poems, responding to each other's poems each week with seriousness, humor, joy, earnestness, and sometimes even with a little bit of trepidation, nervousness, uncertainty. But I think all of those adjectives are present in their poems, and yeah, they have this really great emotional register that's there. For instance, Devin, who could not be here with us tonight, Devin angles the aperture of a poem. Nora is also away, but scrutinizes the big pink tumors of February. Nicole refuses to let go of the dead. Rachel lyricizes the language of becoming. Katie questions creation with the insistence of Rumi. Lucinda animates the bare branches of the orchard. Kamali finds fathers in familiar places. Maya searches for the loose strings overhead. Phoebe turns the binoculars of a poem into gentle focus. Nic speaks of pliers taken to soft trees. Mawuena contemplates blankets that might never be passed down. Ro crafts beds that bob on calm waters. And Sadie spins haiku like a Springsteen record. So much range. I'm gonna say everyone's name first, and then I'll just invite them up, everyone's full name. I'll invite them up to the podium, and they'll read their work, and then they'll invite the next person up to read. And that way I won't disrupt the reading with the bios. So, this is so weird. I also really want to thank the friends and the family of our poets tonight for streaming in and for being here with us. Okay. All right. So, order of readers now. It's changed. It's changed a little bit. Let me give it. I got my own cheat sheet. So first up is actually going to be Nicole Del Rio, then Rachel Knell, Kaday Jarra, Lucinda Holland, Kamali Williams, Maya Barrientos, Phoebe Eis, Mawuena Nenonene, Medovoi-Klotz, and Sadie McRae. Okay, so first, please welcome to the stage Nicole Del Rio.
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much to everyone in attendance. This means a lot to me and to everyone in our class. For my first poem that I'm going to be reading tonight, I'm going to be reading one called Changeling 1, Dead and Replaced. You invited me for coffee instead of an apology. You offered to buy my forgiveness. Cheap. Were you always like this? No, that cannot be. A stranger is wearing your skin, masquerading as you. A mimic. A good mimic. But not good enough to fool me. I see correct teeth, correct birthmark, correct nose shape. I'll hand it to you, you got the slopes and turns. Maybe you're always like this. Maybe you're always capable of doing what you did. Maybe my mom was right about you. Wait, you're not that good of a mimic. You failed to copy the eyes, that's what's different. I knew that could not have been you. What an amateur. Your eyes might still be brown, but they're hollow. They were never hollow. They were full, bright, like candles. You blew out the flame when you stole this body, changeling. I'm looking at an imposter. I knew your soul was never empty enough to do what you did. Your eyes used to burn a pure, bright flame. Why do I only see smoke? Did the flame go out a long time ago? Did I imagine it? No, that's ridiculous. There's only one answer. You were murdered. You were murdered and a flay stole your form. Murdered and possessed. A tantrum possesses me. Reveal yourself, expel yourself, leave this body now. You look at me as though I'm crazy. Everyone is staring. Who are you to judge me? Do you really feel like you have the right to judge me after nothing because you are not you? The person in front of me is a changeling. Maybe I should take a closer look. I'm starting to remember when stop. I refuse to see. Why do my eyes keep opening? I want them shut. Trembling, I line my eyelids with glue. Try opening now. Should I listen to my body? No, my soul knows something is wrong. My friend would never have done that. Changeling. My vocal cords grind and grate. I fling myself to the ground like a child deny a toy. Limbs forced into flails, face exhausted red. My lungs are annoyed at all the breath being wasted. I force a shriek anyway, changeling. Do you want to steal my body too? Was my friend not enough? Or maybe I was stupid. Maybe it is time to accept, no, changeling, get out of that body. It's not yours. I don't care what anyone says. It's not yours. It's not you. You pry my eyes open. Thank you. And for my second poem, I'm going to be reading A Visit to the Alchemist. I had not seen her in a while, ever since she decided to study alchemy, and now she spends all her days attempting to turn lead into gold. I told her it was pointless. In all the centuries of alchemy, nobody has turned lead into gold. Lead is lead, and gold is gold. She told me to shut up. Anyways. Then she called me weeping with joy, hysterically panting like an excitable dog. I did it. Quickly, I went to her house. Her body was limp, resting on the floor, caressing what she believed to be gold. Except it wasn't. It was a glittering puddle of slime dripping down her pale arms. Brilliant binding golden slime. Maybe I should have left her in her bliss, left her in that mess of slime, let her arms get coated in acid burns, let her float in the false ecstasy. But I'm not an alchemist. I've made peace with lead being lead, nothing more, nothing less. And so I cleaned the slime off her arms. I tried to use water to wash away the delusions of gold. Instead, she melted and called me her enemy. I wonder how she's doing now. I wonder if she's still an alchemist. I wonder how long she'll keep tinkering with lead and hoping for gold. Thank you. And for the next poet of the night, I'd like to welcome onto the stage Rachel Knell. Rachel, thank you so much. I'm very excited to hear your work.
Hello. Is this a good volume? Great. Okay. Hi. Thank you, Nicole. That was awesome. So I'm going to be reading 3 poems, and my first poem is Morning. The blur of a bird, bright yellow against the windowsill, the beat of its wing, feathered frenzy. This morning's strange saturation transforms the smallness around me. I will notice a dimple in the glass and call it a cheek. I will sit up in a spinning room and I will call it earth. I will call every boundless thing a body. My body is reverie, soft light coming in, brilliant dust. My body sparkles with its dirtiness, rouses all the bodies around it from their shimmering sleep. Light frenzies, wild bodies. Let me revolutionize my morning. I will shed my sheet, my sheath, and step out into my own bareness. These are my hands, here is my skin. Let me touch the morning and call it a body. Let me feel this morning, beating heart sun, blood pumping sky, bright body, bright, breathing miracle, immortal morning. Somewhere a bird calls every boundless thing a body. The fan whirs, everything trembles a little. Thank you. My next poem is Bird Listening. Tremolos at the edge of twilight, from the tops of tall elms and telephone lines, hidden in the silhouette intersections between limbs and wire against the dazzling, dusking sky. Here we are against the earth in huddled, hushed splendor, silent tremors in our throats, feeling look up and looking at each other. Oh, to share a snapshot of sky with you, to hear the mockingbird's solo choir, a titmouse's repeated peter, and a woodpecker's rattle, a chickadee's Phoebe Eis, and suddenly our particular gate creaking from somewhere above us, and the beak of heaven opening our front door. Thank you. My last poem, Today. Even the sound of cars is wonderful. The cars mixed with cicadas and all of it swaddled in wind. I walk out in my shimmering, sunlit dance out into the plenty pouring into me, into my ebbing and flowing, boundless body. I squat at a ruddy, muddy leaf. Here, I am confronted by autumn in all its bright and dirty glory, and I am reminded of how everything is dying, all of us inching constantly toward endings, even as we step out into the shimmering beginning of this day, into the singing crunch of leaves sparkling out under our feet. And I think there's a kind of peace, a kind of balance in autumn bringing the sky to the ground. But mostly, there's a pulsing, pounding jubilee. Today is the anniversary of living, and tomorrow is the anniversary of living. And God, don't you just want to touch everything, hold it all to you so that you can love everything? I am walking across today's dappling, green, restless canopy over restless green. I am between earth and heaven, right where I should be, here among the zipping sunspeck gnats and bees rubbing their bodies with fresh pollen, their little whirring legs, the sheen of their stingers. For once, I am not afraid. I am putting my nose right into that rose. I am shaking the pollen from my body and listening because someone is laughing. And it's the kind of laugh that pierces through the exuberance of this morning. They can hear it down the street and around the corner and maybe all the way up to heaven, bursting and breaking and bubbling over, opening, oh God, in the throat, oh God, in the palms pressing sunlight into each other. Oh God, don't you just feel like you have never dared to feel, really feel until now? Thank you. And next up, let's welcome Katie.
Thank you, Rachel. I have 4 poems for you, so one more than the last. Okay. This first poem is called Midsummer Skies. It's after She Had Forgotten How the August Night by Edna St. Vincent Millay. July skies were always painfully bright, and when the moon hit, softly dim, the cicadas in unison buzzed as loud as buzzes could be, and she laid, submerged in the moon's light, carrying the weight of youth, losing sight of time and the girl she once knew, who would bathe in the sun's light, golden browned, but now, like all the rest, simple and pale, which seemed to her an honest enough test of whether she could still love, and she had forgotten if she had had an answer, then or now. Okay. The second one is called After a One-Night Encounter. Pathetic is what you would call me if you knew the way I still crave you. Helpless is how you would look at me, with eyes I so desperately tried to avoid when we were tangled on the hardwood dorm floor, holding your hand, trying to maintain a sense of propriety, to not kiss you in a room that isn't my own. Naive is what I am, to think that after the fleetingness of that night, you would be a person I could orbit my life around. After it all, it didn't make sense sending you that text asking to hang out on a sunny vacation that wasn't for you, but secretly was in hopes to see you again. Taking everything and more out of my body, ravaging my mind and stripping me of senses for days on end. Prayers leave my lips to map your presence in my mind. It must be crazy to ask for you. Could I be sane? Sanity slipped out of my body after the first night I dreamed only of you in hot flashes, fevering my body. I have known you intimately in my mind since. Through dreams where you come back to me and the confusion of our relation is a banter to play with. If I told you I had come to love you, would I be sane? You gave to a girl you didn't expect to take the bait, and now all that is left is my indiscretion in trying to get back to one moment I am too caught up in to let go. You didn't look at me with the same eyes that wanted me when we first met after I laughed too hard at a joke at yours that wasn't that funny. Okay, my third poem is called I Was Too Much for My Body. It's why I bled well before you could consider me ripe. It's how anxiety found me first, wanting to meet the way my head turns and my heart contracts. I heave, needing to move so that fear cannot claim the ease of overtaking a still body. I was too much for my body, gained the consciousness of a woman that grew out of a 5-year-old's breast. Too much to think of, too much for my body, much to think about. They say women are more mature than men. Then what use is there for a mature little girl? Okay, my last poem for you is Prelude, because it probably will be my prelude to my chapbook. Okay. It's over, before it truly began. Wipe away my tears. Bring your light to my cheek and swallow them from my eyes. You'll find I taste of a lost desperation, taste of a consuming desire, a slipping sanity, that I am more than just a girl, living raw, found by chance into existence. Stand within me. Crawl into my blood. Be corporeal, so you too can carry the weight of a daughter learning to be kind, despite the ease of gravity's weight on the mind pressing me down. Follow my feet and crave the imprint it leaves behind. Stand within the craters, sink in my path, so that we may weld into one, to live and to die, to answer a question I'm not sure I ever asked to begin with. Move forward with me, so that if you cannot overtake my body, I will not have to brave the winter alone. More in me, outside of reality, that is determined to dismantle me to a moment. Begin again. All right. Okay, next up, please welcome Lucinda.
Hi, everyone. I've been thinking a lot lately about what the role of the poet is, and something that I always circle back to is the story of Anna Akhmatova, who was a poet during the Stalinist regime in the Soviet Union. And even though she was forbidden to write poetry, she would have her friends memorize her favorite poems, so that years later, when they were able to escape from the Soviet Union, they were able to reconstruct a lot of the poems that she'd written. And what this really highlights for me is how poetry is about relationship. So I wanted to share, to start off, a poem by the Ukrainian poet Ilya Kaminsky that I really love. It's called Author's Prayer. If I speak for the dead, I must leave this animal of my body. I must write the same poem over and over, for an empty page is the white flag of their surrender. If I speak for them, I must walk on the edge of myself. I must live as a blind man who runs through rooms without touching the furniture. Yes, I live. I can cross the streets asking, what year is it? I can dance in my sleep and laugh in front of the mirror. Even sleep is a prayer, Lord. I will praise your madness, and in a language not mine, speak of music that wakes us, music in which we move. For whatever I say is a kind of petition, and the darkest days must I praise. Thank you. This is a poem about my grandmother. I wanted to tell you something about loss and how it softens us. The full moon through slatted blinds, the night we stood beside my grandmother's body, and she wasn't there. I wanted to tell you about her hands, running glissandos up and down the fingerboard in the lamplight, the harp she played for 90 years until she couldn't take its weight against her shoulder anymore. I wanted to caress the details. The evening gowns in the walk-in closet, the boardwalk in summer in San Antonio, the dog-eared copy of Think Yourself Thin. Then I wanted to say something about how a woman walks alone. But my grandmother has grown restless with all this meaning making. She leafs through the shiny pages of the Talbots' catalog, checks her reflection in the side window, adjusts her pearls. She's sick of symbolism the way she's sick of all this coming and going, pain and morphine. The nurse is humming a tune about Jesus, and my grandmother interrupts to tell the story of her husband's early death and the mink coat she bought herself afterwards to fill his half of the closet. The condolence letters she answered the day she received them, without shedding a single tear. Do you want to hear a love poem? It's a sad love poem, and it's about my uncle who I never met. It's called 19, and it's a villanelle. He was my age or younger when he died, instantaneously shattering the Italian motorbike, the skull with its furious dialectics. His Houston girlfriend, hearing, finds she cannot weep, but only numbly wonder why. It wasn't the first time he blindly rolled the dice in his restless, reckless gamble to transcend his father's legacy with those abstract stakes, his life. Later, she'll receive his last letter, the ink barely dried, and imagine his fingers stained black and all the letters he would never send, since he was only my age or younger when he died. He could curse in 7 languages and flatter her in 5, debate in secret alphabets only she could comprehend, although she never saw him weep and numbly wonders why. For years, she scanned the crowded subway cars, hoping he might wash in on the tide of strange faces. He never did, and she never married in the end, even though he was my age or younger when he died. They were Fred and Ginger of polemics, caper, dip, and glide, and dust devils on the dance floor at the parties they'd upend. He was my age or younger when he died. For days she cannot weep, but only numbly wonder why. Thank you. And next up, we have Kamali.
Let me get set up here. Okay, I'm gonna have my water as well. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with trusting the dark. I look for the moon for guidance. Its quiet pull steadies what I can't name. When the world feels too loud, I whisper, "Oh, glowing orb, how can you change my life?" The moon never answers, yet its silence feels like the truth that doesn't change. Its pale light softens me, steadying the wild tides within. I watch its reflection glisten across the water's troubling skin. Even what is broken can shimmer if the night allows. That is usually enough to believe in something quiet and certain, enough to breathe, to trust my path will find its shape in the dark. But sometimes the moon is not enough. Its glow cannot touch the corners of my mind. There's doubt, petals in the shadow and wanting still. I keep looking up, hoping its pale light will learn to speak in me, to murmur what I ache to hear. This is the way, trust your steps. This next one is for my mom that I think is tuning in. So this is title pending, but for right now, it's February 2004. Small as a breath, I am in your belly, and you're walking down the aisle. Your dress is white, yes, not the bright white from magazines, it's a softer white, a winter white light. A quiet white that settles on your shoulders like a promise you're trying hard to believe. Your sister holds the bouquet, your best friend whispers, "You look beautiful, you look beautiful." And you do. Only feel the rise of your ribs when you inhale the organ song. February 2004. A cold month in New York, a month that keeps time slow. And time, mommy, time is the thing I feel the most. It moves around you like a veil. You didn't ask for it, it loops and still won't tell you the truth. The truth is, you would have had 3 kids, but the man waiting for you, the man straightening his tie, the man smiling too sharply told you to abort the twins you wanted. I hear his voice, sharp, short, shoving, even though I'm still inside you, even though you thought the future would soften him. In 8 years, he will be mean, mouth words meant to wound you. A psychic warned you you shouldn't marry him. The room smelled of sage and sadness when she said it, but you married him anyway, because trust is heavy and hope is heavier. And sometimes a girl raised on kindness believes she can teach someone else how to be gentle. Mommy, you kept rewriting the story, hoping for a better ending. I don't blame the way you needed love in the winter. I don't blame you for choosing the dream over the warning, the vow over the voice, the future you wanted over the future you feared. I know he hurt you more than he hurt me, because hurting you was the easiest thing he ever done to you. Because trust, your trust, was a language he never bothered to speak. I wish I could have been there, outside your body, beside your dress, near your troubling hands as the doors opened and February air followed you forward. But it's only February 2004. Only 3 more months until May 9th, 2004, the day I'll meet you, the day we'll touch. And even now, before eyes, before breath, before anything, I trust you, mommy. I trust the sound of your heartbeat more than any prophecy or promise. I trust the way you carry me. I trust the way you try to build, even when the world tells you you're building it wrong. Time moves slow, slow as snow, soft as you're dressed, and I still trust you. Right. And this is my last one. This is for my girlfriend. This is Miss You, would you go for a walk? We could get iced chai from the cafe across the street from campus. We get the same order, but yours always tastes better than mine. We set up Connect 4 by the window, the sunlight kissing your face. You win, of course, you always do. I'd accuse you of cheating just so I can hear you laugh, that soft, warm, mischievous sound that makes the whole world feel right. Tell me again about Vermont, about the woods, the mornings, the way the bird sounds and the quiet roads. Tell me about the walks, the ones you took with your mom. Tell me about your lake where you used to skip rocks with your dad. Miss You, would you go for a walk? I just want an excuse to hold your hand, to feel your softness settle gently into mine. You always ask me to massage your palms because it steadies you. The slow circles, the quiet breath you release. Let's go for a walk. Down that path behind the cafe where the rain hangs in the air and every step feels like a beginning. I hold your hand this time without waiting for you to ask. I tell you I love you, just reminding you I'm not going anywhere. All right. Thank you. Next up is Maya.
Okay, I have 3 poems today. The first one is called Immeasurable Meteor of Delight. I collect plums when the summer is born, spit out seeds like insults, relish in sweetness like I used to. I decorate my time by dreaming, search for meaning in stones, extract a feeling from tides that taste like colors. I turn to revolving ballads, listen for morning doves, stare into white curtains that aren't quite sheer enough. I drift towards grievance and unanticipated joys, caught by the shapeless entity of the sentimental unknown. I find the excuse once again to be a sleeping, subtle image, when that candle is blown so that I return to seeing in the dark. Okay, this next one is called I Greet the Pinhole That Is. A reality questioned against a wall of illusion is one placed in front of me, where my shadow is disfigured and I can't seem to find where my shoes are. I stand in the court watching him shoot, and eyes still watching, but my eyes are over my head and I don't recognize this girl in blue, who can't help but laugh at her missed shots, teeth showing like they never have before. A brush on the asphalt as I pause from a sprint, and my body unimagines, each breath a feather fallen, each pulse a piece of gravel kicked, the sky about to rupture. If that laugh could last forever, I'm afraid she'd run out of breath, and a bird would fly over her, singing, because it had never forgotten its song. Okay, this last one is called Soul Mother. Grant my hands the touch of her agile, the red of her flame, the daughter within. Beckon me towards her voice so wavering, but in tides that move lands, fires that wrap the numbing edge of a winter's blade. When April arrives, perhaps I too can reach for the sun, reach for her hair, wash rose-blooded stain. When I would count my angels in dreams, tell her how many arise from young sheets. Linda, she says, I'm fed by her hands, kept in her reach. Take my words in exchange for her pride. I like to wear it, offer, not reap it, return it so that our horses run at the very same pace. I accompany her where I can. At her grief I fall, her horse still ahead of mine, which trails in sullen steps and bitter distance, and still would like to carry some too. Poem written in lines of her palms, older, drier, colder, where perhaps my name is carved and prayed for as I offer mine instead. Okay, up next is Phoebe.
Hi, everyone. This first one is called Sonnet in Two Phases. You used to follow me through station wagon windows from behind apple orchards, lullaby me in back seats and carry me from driveway to bed sheets. Stars on my ceiling, you on the eaves, someone to watch where I went where only you could follow. New day, and you were still there behind the blue. This hope I had, to unpeel every hour, to squeeze out that silver nectar, every hour waiting for your rising, my friend. At the center of your glowing, there is a seed of dark, smooth stone. I once put my sorrow there to save for other seasons. Crater for a mouth, only almost speakable, a lump of matter in the throat, a gravity in the sternum. Always that feeling, don't know what to call it. Afraid to tell it, even to the night. Sometimes gunpowder-scented anger, sometimes hollow like the black beneath my eyelids. Familiar, if nothing else. Panic coalescing with violin crescendo or absence dwindling down to empty air. Still trying to bite this life around the bruises. So many, I've started to crave the taste. This sphere of shadow, never not in my orbit. Don't know what to call it. So I'll call it my moon. All right, next is Exit Strategies for a Perpetual Emergency, and this is written after Morgan Parker and Cameron Awkward Rich. Sleep on the side that hurts the least. Wake up and make the bed, dream still holding that hurt. Every second, something breaks your heart. The deer by the state highway reduced to abstraction. Empty, humming strip malls, the radio anchors rehearsed. Inhale before the next story. Pull over for ambulances, fire trucks, sometimes the police. Do not look at the bodies. Do not look at the fires. When the quiet grows teeth, rearrange your furniture. Sleep against a new wall and see if the dreams stick. If the gnashing gets louder, move the bed back where it used to be. Delete socials, delete emails, re-download socials, multiply manifestos, and feel their warm, fresh pages, lovers against your cheek. Let the quiet claw and scratch and gnash louder now. Believe it when they tell you it's not just you who hears these things. Sleep on floors. Anywhere is fine. Someone will bring a pillow. Eat soup and bread and say, this is the best soup I've ever had. Mean it. Realize there is music inside the walls and coax it out from between the bricks. Squeaky stringed guitars, voices hoarse with midnight, the pulse of feet on pavement, megaphone muffled chants and echoes from the crowd. Climb out of windows, the higher the better. On the wind up here, the scent of futures, metallic and sweet as waiting thunderstorms. Call senators, leave voicemails, or leave the state and find those assholes yourself. Pull the alarm, delete the quiet, delete the walls, organize the alarm, dream the waking, pull all the alarms until the ringing sounds like the only way out. Thank you. Next is Mawuena.
Hello. I'm Mawuena. That was announced before. My first poem is an ode to novelty. Of old stones of bitter grace, of finished floors of high playsets, drawn out of the pavement, of the light, of the shoes that have scuffed from kicking my own, of spoiled drinks and historic winds, listening to my and a singing of my, and a ting, and a ting, and a ting, and came to fields charted and wandered, fields uncharted and still wandered, the jazz of her lips lost, of still and stop and who. In ways I must devote myself to you, I must absorb the sound of ashes spread on my decade's body. Come and sit with me. My next poem is called A Letter from Velma. Low vibrations rattle between my ribs, humming smooth tunes put into my head. Songs of sweet suffering are tinging, skipping across the floor and tugging on my feelings. It's good to be seeping cloying kin and feeling damn near sickly on crumpled cans. Oh my God, how you have grown, baby, you have grown. Still got those skinny little arms, but the tits of your grandmother, figure uncalm. Qualms with your taste and partner, but as long as you got babies here, I'm honored. When you have them, name them after me. Tag them with the ferocity of my legacy. I'll be seeing you up there soon. This plane might up here just be ungrown. Sorry. I'll be seeing you though soon. This plane up here might just be overgrown, filled with niggas you couldn't have even known. Fire lit still in the motherland of those who made it home. I'm wondering if you'll write to me, and if I'll get it. I have two more, but I promise that they're short. This one is called Chord. The attachment to her began in the womb, fed by the sound of her voice. The liquefied substance of wisdom mimicked her breath. Manipulated invention of a worldly nature collapsed into one smashed organism. Prediction sits on her. The beginning of a daughter. Crisp hallucinations, lucid phantoms, like a spectrum just out of reach. My mother delivered me early. Threats of severing ties, abandoned embryonic. I clasped to chambered walls, draped between stripped cords lies my body. The creating of new beauty, the furthering of mutual destruction, settlement, and belief. When cut, I am left with nothing of distant chatters and the pressure of my own head, supported by her shoulders. This last one is called Putu. You can ask me about the translation of that, or there's a Chui class at Amherst. I don't know if they're giving it in the fall. Anyways, Putu. A good man of starch and denim, lane bark peeled and the bleeding of white paint onto my back. The beginning of my love for honeysuckle, sweet cherry, and dyed glass. My disdain for Georgian heat and the sharp melodies through brick walls. Twisted words into wishes, grazed past pews that held gospels of two bodies, a holy space, the house of the Lord, a creaking couch, toppling splintering boards. Overcome by spirit and natural urge, guided by the charged pulse rushing through grace, a holy woman, a woman of the Lord, kneels towards a couch, abandoned, closed towards floor. Shall I stay with the mother? Virgin is the split grass between my teeth, blown past hymnals of my cluttered book in the birth of my teenhood. Fall between a bell of brooks and dynamite, sharpened daggers by pickets and inch white paint across my back. Gone is freshness like blistering grapes into communal wine, an everlasting taste of freedom. Rise in body or in spirit. I have a bit. Next up is not only the newest version of a GLP-1, it is Roe.
Thank you. I have 3 poems, and this first one is called Softa and Her Radio. The names and faces have long since gone, but this she knows, the jumps and dips of klezmer, the soft, lilted prayers in Hebrew that raise their voices to the sky, threatening to break loose, the dull weight of a hand on her shoulder, the stroke of fingers through her hair, and language. So much language, the room practically vibrates with it. English and Hebrew and Yiddish jump and skip in a complex braid. Round vowels trip, jingle like coins caught in a jar. Someone turns the music down, touches her skin, so papery the veins look lit from within. She sighs, which sounds something like a world deflating, and smiles a secret to herself. Anit Sev, she told me once, squeezing my hand. I'm floating. And I could see it suddenly, her wooden bed bobbing on calm water, somewhere in that twilight place where relatives all wear the same face. Ken, I said, squeezing her hand back. Yes, you're floating. When the language fades, we leave her to her radio, dug up from the garage, soft with dust. It still plays well enough. We leave her to the thick strips of gauzy curtains, the plastic plants and photographs of people she can no longer recognize. Anit Sev, I think of her hands, her knobby knuckles, and the crevices of her cheeks. Anit Sev, she would sip orange juice through a straw, and the sweet tang would leave a mark of reverie on her face, soft and fleeting. This next one is called Into the Weeds. And that's also the title of my chapbook. Into the Weeds. To part the blades with a fingernail, suck in a deep breath and dive in. To wade through the muck of so many yesterdays and tomorrows without getting your feet wet. This is a dance. Don't poke through the weeds if you're not ready to see some snakes, someone tells me once. But I see no snakes here. Only a farmhouse shedding its skin and the soft ripple of danger long past. So we comb through the blades as softly as one recites a prayer and are careful not to wake the gods that live here. This last one is called Monsoon Season. When the mesquite trees bloom, the frothy yellow catkins drinking up the light before falling in clumps to the floor, you'll know I'm coming back. When the pale blue of the sky yawns, stretches itself taut as powdery silk, and the shadows stick to the ground, you'll hear it first. The dry crack of a screen door slamming shut, the mechanical purr of a box fan in a window, pools of sweat gathering in the indents of collarbones, that sound of quiet desperation. When the air grows thin, uninterrupted by the blushing bellies of clouds, you'll hold your breath and pray for them to darken and swarm, for a million pebbles of rain to scatter and shatter over the landscape, momentarily dispelling your thirst. For now, you wait like a dog chained to a post, poking his nose into the dust. You wait for the waxy leaves of the creosote to bloom, unfurling in that sweet, drizzly smell, for the rain's fingers to softly brush your lips, to smooth over your racked skin, to cup you in its watery palms and tell you finally, enough. And our last poet is Sadie.
Hi. So happy to be up here. I'm obsessed with the Poetry Center at Smith. It's my favorite part, as my bosses know. So I'm grateful to be on this stage. Just for some context, I wrote my chapbook about my tumultuous experience with pursuing gender-affirming care, which kind of just got resolved today, which is big news. Thank you. It's like four and a half months, so pretty big. And Bruce Springsteen, it's also about Bruce Springsteen. But my first poem I'm going to read is called Sacco. Sacco is an unseen character on the Nickelodeon TV show iCarly, who is frequently referenced he is frequently mentioned in reference to his friendship with Spencer Shea, his large family, and his sock company, where he invents creative, logic-defying socks. So this is Sacco. What sex are toes? Can you tell by the spurred bone jutting from the lump of calloused cant, my dolled-up feet arched in Trojan triumph? What remarks the owner of these toes embedded in their walk, a strung tall strut or a slugged tight saunter, certain-heeled or flat-egoed? I used to walk scissors across the page, marveling at their upright femininity, and wonder why I was the only girl whose feet could not handle the weight of gravity. Please do not tell my doctors, but sometimes I do think about no longer existing, ridding the world of my body and myself of walking so I do not have to reveal in my feet what a failure I am at resisting the force of feeling that concaves what I am made to be into what I know. What I know is this: I am sick of fighting. I am sick of failing. I am sick with some sort of lunar awareness that I can maybe become happier with coarser hair and sharper teeth if I ignore the honest arch of my feet, telling me the imperial truths of my body. I don't even believe that toes are really called toes. Regardless, we all picture the same carrot nub cyst. If I did not exist, we would lose another prophet of nowhere, and I would never need to speak to another confused insurance agent or pretend that I have gender dysphoria or worry about the distance of my heel to the ground. If I did not exist, I would like my name to be Sacco. Sacco is an easy rider. You can tell by the curvature of his name on your mouth, swiftly counter-steering the bone hills and pink grind box. He does not even care that his name reeks of hidden and forgotten. He is too busy smelling the sleek shine of freedom. As a business owner and a craftsman, Sacco answers to nobody, too busy focusing on transcending the binary of possible and prohibited with his glowing, brain-meltable tube socks. In Sacco's socks, sex is hidden behind neon X's, Sacco's signature brand of chromosome, and squiggle lines. The only walk you can do in Sacco's socks is an exhibitionist pant lift that whooshes you off screen, free to strut in the quiet of anti-gravity. Sacco does not do it for the glory, no. He imparts his scripture on those he knows will understand the purpose of his artwork, which is to distract the watchful eye with certain spectacle. He enlists his clown car of allies to ensure that no one will forget his name, Sacco, a name as real as the closure of the mouth around what is true and what is embedded. Once, I told a group of upright walkers at a bar that my name was Sacco. I waited to see their horrified faces, convulsing around the idea that I, a failure of a prophet, a sex certainty, would consider claiming such audacious invisibility. The laughter I was preparing, which began in my toes, ran to hide when they, strung-faced, did not pause before saying, "Okay, Sacco, what an unusual name." And then I'll read one Bruce Springsteen poem that I wrote because Matt Donovan told me to. So this one's about Bruce's album, Nebraska, which is, it was a deviation for Springsteen. I'm not going to get up here and talk about it. You can go listen. Nebraska. And I start with a quote from Leslie Feinberg's Stone Butch Blues. "I didn't feel like a man trapped in a woman's body. I just felt trapped." I am trying to make Bruce Springsteen a butch lesbian. The real Bruce Springsteen doesn't know what it means to be trapped in your body, but Nebraska does. The horizon closes in, scratchy roads like skin, dirty palms, sweat, sweet freedom breeds New hurt, hot bones, and a threat to penetrate the walls of now with handsome, hardened music. She fastens the dilapidated American dream to her bike, flaunts its flag, rides sorrow into sunrise. Violence is all her hardening body can trust, violence and a lover who leaves like family. She does not ride to run. There is just no street for her work boots or her soft feeling, no deliverance in her America, no safety in his state. Except at horizon, dark closing in, nothing for miles, but rough and raw and reaching for a dream that renews, a love that allows a reason to believe she can melt into someone firmer than the wide open sky. And then I'm ending my collection on some haikus. I don't know if they're proper haikus. I don't know. And so this is how my collection ends. Called Bad Epilogue, the only one I have. A couple Homeric haikus. No more June 16th. I know, bad storytelling, too tired to fix. 19,000, 12K plus 3K plus more. What is my free worth? Melancholia. Sometime, far future, wait for. Now, recycled tears. I want to give in. Feel my simple skin again. There's no way back or through. I tragic into, I dream another change into, I splinter into, I will stay for you who listens. I want to tell you a good story. That's it. And that's everyone.
Just give one more big round of applause for these poets. Thanks for coming, and good night.